Good evening and salutations, my Days of Lives fans. I'm going to be completely honest, this episode didn't really do much for me. It felt more like a filler. Let's talk about the party real quick. So, after Sean, informs Doug and Jolie about, the whole Jan Spears thing and Bella and their marriage and everything like that, um, most of the guests start to show up. Well, pretty much all the guests start to show up. Now, the interesting thing uh, uh, one of the interesting things about this episode was after Ben invited Marlena to the party. The minute that it opens, I'm sitting there thinking, why is Marlena still actually at that job? Why I'm didn't she get fired? Weren't they planning on firing her? What happened? Turns out later on when she does talk to Kayla that Nancy was able to blackmail Craig into keeping her job. But to be honest, that really doesn't track. The thing is, the board wanted to fire Marlena because of, their reasons. And since Kayla didn't do it, Kayla got fired and they brought in Craig. But, because Craig wants a quickie divorce, he's like, all right, I'm going to let you stay. But I'm like, it's not really Craig's decision if she should stay or not. I mean, the whole point of Kayla being fired is because she didn't do what the board asked her to do. So what exactly changed? I'm assuming that they still want them. I'm assuming that they still wanted Marlena fired. So what's the difference? Who fires her? Listen, I'm willing to have a lot of disbelief when it comes to soap operas. I watch all four of them, but are we just supposed to sit there and pretend that the board still doesn't want Marlena fired? We're just supposed to just like act like that didn't happen. Anyway, this whole party gets started. And they revealed it. They cut the cake or whatever. Now this is after Allie was acting very strange, telling them that she quit the bakery. Her and Chanel are over, and how at one point even Rome walked up to her like, "You good? Because you're not acting like yourself." Now, granted, this is not that long ago when Allie was sitting there engaged to Trip, and that whole thing fell through. And she wound up being with Chanel, like out of nowhere. But now she's all like, "Oh, I quit the bakery, and I'm just kind of doing me, and life couldn't be any better." And I'm just like, you know this girl your whole life. Now, granted, Allie knew Johnny her whole life, and yet for some odd reason, the way that Johnny was acting, you couldn't sit there and tell the difference. At least with Doug, Doug was doing things that you can sit there and chalk up to like, Alzheimer's or whatever. But Johnny's behavior made zero sense when you've grown up with this guy your whole life. I mean, yeah, you said that he's been a player sometimes or whatever, but he's never been a dick. I mean, not in that way I could sit there and imagine. But whatever. Anyway, they open up, Ben and Sierra open up the cake. And when they cut through the cake, red stuff comes out of it. And, she's all like, oh, well, it's cherry or whatever, it's strawberry. And then she's like, well, this must be, Chanel's fault, because, we want to breaking up with her, she's kind of heartbroken. And so, that's just why. Now, everyone at the party, when they saw the red stuff come out the cake, they were horrified. And towards the end of the episode, Ben still wants to know, what the sex of the baby is. And Allie tells them that it's a boy. Of course, she walks away and, she's all like, well, that's exactly what I had planned. I'm like, what? What is going Okay, alright, sure. Um, Now Bella was not there talking to John. Well, first of all, Bella came in there. She was drunk as hell. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Drunk Bella is funny as hell. But she comes in there and she tells, John about Sean and Jan Spears and everything like that. And, she doesn't know if it's going to work out because, babies change everything. And she knows that Sean's going to sit there and step up. And she just doesn't know how her marriage is going to work moving forward. But she does admit that she's not giving up on her marriage. So maybe this is just more of a time space sort of thing. John gives. I love John, but John gave her the what? The movie I was not there watching. John gives her pretty much the hopes and dreams speech of love will conquer all, and I do remember her sitting there talking back to a time she was a child, and I guess that was a whole thing as far as like messing up John and Marlena or something like that. I'm not too sure. But John gives her the hopes and dreams speech, and then he hugs her, and that pretty much ends that. But of course, we all know that EJ's gonna wind up being with Bella because part of this devil storyline is to shake up these relationships, either break them up so this way they can go out and do different, they can go out with other people, and that's what this really is. It's somewhat of a reset button. I'm not exactly happy with it, but it's one of those things where it's like they felt like it was just easier to do, which is why this, devil storyline is still going. I mean, let's be honest. We all thought it was going to end, well, December. And it was almost like they just kind of stood there like, how are we going to sit there and shake things up? Like, how am I going to sit there and move this character to this character? Well, maybe you just keep the devil storyline going on and, just have him break up couples because, apparently that's another one of his fun games. Okay, so I guess we're going to do that now. And here we are. Oh, and the last thing I want to sit there and talk about is Chanel and Paulina. So Chanel comes in the room and she's all sad and looked like she's been crying for like hours or days or whatever. And she tells Paulina that, they broke up, her and Allie. At this point, Paulina is livid with both of them. And, she's all like, you can do better than them and this, that, and the third. One of the things that Paulina said to Chanel was that she did grow. She did mature a lot more. Because Chanel was pretty much like she was. I can't exactly remember the words that she used, but she was a train wreck when she first got there. And to be honest, I really could not stand her. When she got there, she tried to stick Trip and Claire with a $500 tab. Try to walk off like it was nothing. She, in the beginning, was completely disrespecting um, Lonnie and, her husband and everything like that, as far as, talking all sexual about him. Now, granted, to be fair, Eli was not helping things by walking around naked, not just once, but twice. The first time I was going to be like, all right, it's whatever. And this is after Chanel was there talking all sorts of greasiness and sexual about Eli. And Lonnie kind of was just like, all right, we're going to talk about this once. We're going to nip this in the bud, and that's going to be it. But then, once again, Chanel catches Eli butt-ass naked, and she sexualizes him again to Lonnie's face. And I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with this woman? But with that being said, even her marrying Xander, just because she thought that he was rich, she definitely did grow, which was a great thing because, to be honest, almost every scene with her was just it was like a chore to sit there and get through. So that does happen. Also, Paulina called a taxi because she wants to sit there and have some words with Allie. And I'm gonna be honest, no, really didn't seem like she was trying that hard to sit there and stop her. It wasn't like she was like so teared up and crying and so emotional that she couldn't really talk or think straight or whatever. All she says is, "Oh, mama, don't do it." And at this point, she already called a taxi, so it's like, So you just gonna let her just like really? Because any normal adult be like, hey, listen, don't do that. I'm not gonna have my parents fight my battles. We will handle this in our own way. Not just, eh, well, I sort of tried. I just sit there and say, oh, mama, and then that was pretty much about it. But I guess that's just my version of Snit. They're trying to stop her. So that should be fun. I am kind of sitting there wondering the first time she did encounter the devil and she knew exactly who, after a while, I'm just wondering if she's going to sit there and get that same sense. Or that same sense because, she was pretty much calling both of the twins like evil or whatever. And I'm wondering if she's going to sit there and feel sort of the same energy that she felt when Johnny was sitting there talking to her. When he was just pretty much just acting like a dick and be like, hey, listen, I broke your daughter's heart and you ain't going to do it, but you ain't doing anything about it. And just walked off, which was a hilarious scene, but that's beside the point. I feel like that's pretty much about it. Like I said, this episode wasn't really that great. It felt like more of a filler than anything else. I mean, even the whole, having the cake look like blood came out of it, like, what's the point of that? I mean, I guess that he got a bit of a kick out of it, but, like, it didn't really do anything in the long run. I mean, you just sat there and just blamed Chanel for the cake screw up. Okay, congratulations. Now you're going to sit there and give her more of a headache to sit there and deal with it. I feel like that's pretty much about it. But I also felt like I kind of got a back. I feel like I got the best out of a bad copy. I didn't want to wait till 8 o'clock. Some of the videos I was simply trying to watch on YouTube was just, well, pretty much NBC just kind of took them down. And the ones that weren't taken down were just really bad copies. But I think I actually found the best of a bad copy, and I think I kind of got the majority of the episode. So, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.